So in the last class we were discussing about the sets of rule, but unfortunately the last part has not come, and now we will discuss about it. As we had seen from the formation of an alkene, some one of the product will be predominant over the other product if depending on the structure of the starting material. Here, as we have taken 2-bromobutane, here we are getting but2-ene is the major product of 81% and but1-ene is the minor product. Okay. Now this is the Zaitsev rule. Alexander Mikhailovich Zaitsev has proposed this rule in 1875. The rule says that the alkene formed in greatest amount, the product formed in the greatest amount is the one that corresponds to removal of the hydrogen from the beta carbon. Okay, removal of the hydrogen from the beta carbon having the fewest hydrogen substituent. Okay, so here he says that the alpha carbon, yes, alpha carbon means the carbon attached to the leaving group. Okay, so in this case this bromine is the leaving group. Okay, so this carbon is the alpha carbon, and here we have two beta carbons. On this beta carbon and this beta carbon, hydrogens can be removed either from here or either from here. So Zaitsev rule says that the hydrogen from the beta carbon having the fewest hydrogen substituents. Okay, so when we compare these two carbons, here only fewest number 2 hydrogens are there and here 3 hydrogens are there. So normally we are getting an alkene by the removal of a hydrogen from this carbon atom will be the predominant product. Okay, so here we are getting why this product is predominant is described by Zaitsev by his rule by the carbon beta carbon having the fewest number of hydrogens. Okay, so this is what the Zaitsev rule says, and then let us discuss some example, then you will easily understand it. If you take this example CH3 CH2 C CH3 Br CH3 2-bromo 2-methyl butane. So here also we have this is the alpha carbon atom because it is the leaving group is attached to this carbon, and we have a beta carbon and beta carbon and beta carbon. So these two are the same. So if we take this carbon and this carbon, so this carbon contains 3 hydrogens and this beta carbon contains 2 hydrogens. So this is the fewest number hydrogens present on this carbon atom. And if this hydrogen atom is removed, we get this product. So this is the major product because it has formed from an alkyl halide having the elimination, beta elimination by the carbon atom having the fewest number of hydrogen and the leaving halide. Okay, and so this will be the minor product. And if you take another example 2-bromopentene CH3 CH2 CH2 CH CH3. So here also we have this alpha carbon and beta carbon, 2 beta carbons are there. Hydrogens can be eliminated either from here or from here. So here the number of carbon hydrogen atoms are 3, here it is 2, the fewer number is here. So if an alkene is formed by the elimination of hydrogen atom from this beta carbon will become the major product or predominant product. Okay, now let us discuss another reaction, how we can prepare the alkenes. Alkenes can also be prepared by the dehydration of alcohols. Okay, dehydration, the word itself indicates that dehydration of alcohol means the removal of a water molecule. So alcohol contains OH group and it can be easily removed. Beta elimination can remove a water molecule and it forms an alkene. Here the loss of water from a molecule is called dehydration. Acid catalyzed dehydration of alcohol yields alkenes. And in this reaction is a 1-2 elimination reaction in which an OH group from one carbon and hydrogen atom from the adjacent carbon in the alcohol molecule are removed to yield an alkene. Okay, so once you look at the reaction you can easily understand it. The net effect is thus the removal of a water molecule from the alcohol molecule and hence thus named dehydration. Okay, so effectively the reaction is shown here, an alcohol is shown here, the hydrogen from this carbon atom and OH hydroxyl group from this carbon atom will also will eliminate. So this is a beta elimination reaction in the presence of an acid, then we get an alkene. Okay, the most commonly used acid in the laboratory are Bronsted acids such as sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, etc. But in industrial preparation sometimes they are using the Lewis acids. And let us discuss some examples, then you can easily understand it. Here we have a tertiary butyl alcohol is shown, CH3C, CH3, CH3OH. That is the tertiary butyl alcohol. We do the reaction in the presence of 20% sulfuric acid. 20% sulfuric acid at 85 degrees centigrade, and then the possibility for the removal of hydrogen from here and OH from here, and we get 2-methyl propene as the product. Okay, so this is a tertiary alcohol. So we use 20% sulfuric acid only and 85 degrees centigrade. And if you take isopropyl alcohol, that is the secondary alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, CH3CH, CH3OH. We need to use only 60% sulfuric acid at 100 degrees centigrade. Okay, so we have to further increase the concentration of sulfuric acid and also the temperature. So we are giving more drastic condition for the reaction to take place. And then we get propene. So here hydrogen from here and OH from this carbon atom will get eliminated as water molecule, we get propene. And if you take a primary alcohol like ethanol, CH3CH2OH, we have to use 95% sulfuric acid. Very high concentrated sulfuric acid has to be used, and also the temperature is 170 degrees centigrade. So the drastic reaction condition has to be given if you use a primary alcohol for the dehydration reaction. Then we get ethene or ethylene here. Okay, so when you look at here, the tertiary will react more easily and fast as compared to secondary and primary. Okay, so this we will come to know in the later stage. This is all because when you look at the mechanism, you will understand why tertiary is more faster as compared to secondary and primary. So when we take an example, but1-ol undergoes dehydration when heated with 75% sulfuric acid at 140 degrees centigrade to yield butene as the major product. Okay, so here I have taken but1-ol, 75% sulfuric acid at 140 degrees centigrade. Then a water molecule will get eliminated from here. There are possibility for the formation of two products. One is carbon-carbon double bond can be introduced here. Another possibility is carbon-carbon double bond can be introduced here. Here actually this product is a major product, or this product is a more stable product as per as you know as per the Markovnikov rule. Okay, Markovnikov rule is actually the addition reaction is explained by Markovnikov, but more number of carbon-carbon double bond surrounded by more number of alkyl groups are the more stable compound. Okay, so we can say that this is a sites of orientation 2. The ease of dehydration of alcohols is in the order tertiary, secondary and primary. This is evident from the conditions required for dehydration as given in the above example. While tertiary and secondary alcohols undergo dehydration with dilute sulfuric acid, primary alcohol requires concentrated sulfuric acid. The required temperature too increased as we move from tertiary to secondary to primary. We have already explained all this. And now we are going to the third reaction, dehalogenation of vicinal dihalide. Okay, so the first one we have discussed, and the second one also discussed, and the third one we are coming to the dehalogenation reaction. First one is dehydrohalogenation, second one is dehydration, third one is dehalogenation reaction. Okay, so here a molecule of halogen will be removed from the adjacent carbon atoms. Again, beta elimination reaction plays a big role. Okay, the vicinal dihalides are dihalo compounds in which halogens are situated on adjacent carbon atoms. Vicinal dihalides undergo dehalogenation when heated with a solution of zinc dust in acetic acid or ethanol. So here you can see the reaction. A vicinal dihalide is represented. Vicinal means adjacent carbon atoms. Okay, vicinal dihalide halogens are present on the adjacent carbon atoms. So this reaction has taken place in the presence of zinc and acetic acid, or zinc or ethanol, and heating. Then we get alkene. Two halogens are removed from the adjacent carbon atoms, and a carbon-carbon double bond is introduced in between those carbon atoms. Sodium iodide acetone can also be used. So if we take another example, 1,2-dibromoethane, 1,2-dibromoethane, CH2Br, and zinc in acetone. Then we get CH2 double bond CH2, Yeah, right. So here two halogens are removed from here, we get ethene. And if we take another example, 1,2-dibromopropane, 1,2-dibromopropane, zinc in acetic acid, then we get propene, CH3, CH double bond, CH2, two halogens are removed from the adjacent carbon atoms, we get a propene. Now let's discuss the chemical properties of alkenes. The first reaction is electrophilic addition reaction. Carbon-carbon double bond, there is a possibility for the pi bond to break and it will give electrophilic addition because it is an electrophile. Electron-loving species can come and attack. Okay, so carbon-carbon double bond is an electron-rich species, and electron-deficient species can easily come and add to the carbon-carbon double bond. Okay, so the typical reaction of alkenes are electrophilic addition, electrophile, and electron-deficient species can come. Electrophilic addition reactions. In an electrophilic addition reaction, the substrate is initially attacked by an electrophile. Okay, so the carbon-carbon double bond in an alkene consists of a sigma bond and a relatively weaker pi bond. The reactivity site in alkene is the pi bond. So wherever you see the pi bond, that it can act as a reactive site because it can be easily broken. The relatively loosely held pi electrons act as an electron-rich or nucleophile center and are available for reaction with an electrophile. Each addition reaction, in fact, starts with a slow addition of an electrophile to one of the sp2 carbons of the alkenes. As you know, carbon-carbon double bond, the two carbons are sp2 hybridized, and the electrophile approaches one of the sp2 hybridized carbon of the alkene and concludes with. So the first reaction, approach of electrophile to an sp2 hybridized carbon, is a slow reaction, and the second reaction is a fast reaction, addition of nucleophile to the sp2 carbon. So the end result is the pi bond is broken and the two new sigma bonds are formed. Okay, so let us discuss the reaction scheme. If E and Nu represent respectively the electrophilic and nucleophilic parts of a polar molecule, polar addendum is called addendum. Okay, so E and Nu, electrophilic part, E represents the electrophilic part, Nu represents the nucleophilic part of this addendum. This is a polar molecule, and the addition may be generalized as consisting if the following two steps. Okay, so actually the reaction is taking place in the two steps. First reaction is a slow reaction where the electrophile comes to the carbon-carbon double bond, and then the second step is nucleophile attacks very fast to the carbocation formed. Okay, so in this reaction, alkene is approaching the addendum, the polar part of the electrophile. Okay, and then it will attack the electrophile E, and then it will attach to the carbon atom here, and the other carbon atom will become positively charged. Okay, and carbocation is formed, and this carbocation can be easily attacked by a nucleophile. This Nu is nucleophile, Nu minus negatively charged species, and then we get an addition product. Okay, so you have to note down here that the nucleophile added here and the electrophile added here is in opposite direction. So this reaction is actually an anti-addition reaction. Non-polar reagents like the halogens can also undergo addition to alkenes, and halogen addition to alkenes and its mechanism is considered first. Okay, so there is not necessary that the polar molecule should be required, but like halogen can also be added across the carbon-carbon double bond. Chlorine, bromine add to alkenes at ordinary temperature in the absence of exposure to UV light to yield vicinal dihalides. Okay, so here an alkene is represented RCH double bond CHR dash is reacting with a halogen next to the two halogen atoms are added across the carbon-carbon double bond, and then we get RCHX, CHX, R dash. So this is a vicinal dihalide. Okay, and then for example, if you take ethene, CH2 double bond CH2 reacting with the Br2 bromine CCl4, and then two bromine atoms are attached to added across the carbon-carbon double bond, we get 1,2-dibromo ethene CH2Br CH2Br. And if you take propene as an example, CH3 CH double bond CH2 reacting with chlorine, then we get 1,2-dichloropropane. And in fact, unsaturated compounds, alkenes, alkanes, etc., discharge the reddish brown color. So this is actually bromine CCl4. Is a solution that is normally used in the organic chemistry lab in order to identify whether the compound is saturated or unsaturated. So this will react with unsaturated compounds. If a carbon-carbon double bond is present, the bromination reaction will take place on the two adjacent carbon atoms. So bromine is normally slightly reddish brown in color, and the reddish brown color of the bromine discharges, or the solution will become colorless. Then we can identify that the compound we used or we are analyzing contains a carbon-carbon double bond or a multiple bond. So now let us discuss the mechanism of addition of halogens to alkenes and its stereochemistry. Okay. So an anionic mechanism involving two steps has been proposed for the addition of halogen to an alkene. So first step, as the halogen molecule approaches the pi electrons of the alkene, it gets polarized. Okay. So when this is comes close to the alkene, it gets polarized, and the polarized halogen molecule undergoing a heterolytic cleavage transfers a positive halogen ion. Okay. So this will become a heterolytic cleavage. Heterolytic cleavage means the shared pair of electrons will go with only one atom is heterolytic cleavage. If the shared pair of electrons are one electron will go with this one, another electron go with this one, that is a homolytic cleavage. Okay. So heterolytic cleavage transfers a positive halogen ion to the alkene, resulting in the formation of a cyclic halonium ion and the halide ion. Okay. So here actually what happens is the carbon-carbon double bond will pick up one of the halogens, then the pair of electrons will shift towards the other halogen, so it will become a X minus or a halide ion, and this is the halonium ion. Okay, so halonium ion is formed, and then step 2, what happens is the halonium ion is a nucleophile. Halide ion is a nucleophile. Okay, this halide ion come and attack the backside. It's a backside attack will take place. Okay, and then this bond will shift here, and this charge is neutralized. Okay, the nucleophilic attack by the halide ion on the halonium ion from the side opposite to that of the bulky halogen portion causes the opening of the three-membered ring and the formation of the vicinal dihalide. Actually, this compound is not a stable one. Immediately the reaction will take place, and this will be opened up to become a stable dihalide. And the addition is thus predominantly anti under these conditions. As I told you in the first example, the addition is anti-reaction, anti-addition or trans-addition. And this backside attack assures anti-stereo chemistry of addition. Okay. And the addition of halogen to an alkene is a stereo-specific reaction in which different stereoisomers of the starting material. Okay. So depending on the stereoisomer of the starting material, different stereoisomers of the product will form. Okay, depending on what kind of material you take, what kind of stereochemistry you take for the reactant, then the product will be formed. Different stereoisomers of the product will be formed. It forms an example for a stereo-specific addition, trans or anti-addition. So now let us discuss the reaction here. The second stage, the halide ion or the nucleophile comes from the backside, and it will attack this carbon atom, and this will shift here, and then we get a vicinal dihalide. But these two halogens are in on opposite direction. The mechanism of addition of bromine to propene to yield 1,2-dibromopropane is depicted below. Here the bromination reaction is shown. Carbon-carbon double bond attacks the bromine atom. It will pick up one of the bromine atoms, and then it forms a bromonium ion and a bromide nucleophile. And in the next stage, the bromide nucleophile will come and attack this carbon atom. In fact, there is no double bond here. By mistake, the double bond is here. Okay, you just correct it. And then it attacks here, and it will go to neutralize the charge, and then we get a 1,2-dibromopropane. Next is addition of a hydrogen halide. Hydrogen halide can also be added to the alkene in the same way. Now we are slowly coming to the Markovnikov rule. Okay. Markovnikov rule is nothing but the addition of talking about the addition of a unsymmetrical ionic species to an unsymmetrical alkene. Okay. So now let us discuss the hydrogen halide, addition of hydrogen halide. A hydrogen halide HX is added to an alkene to yield the corresponding alkyl halide. Okay. So here HX hydrogen can add to this carbon atom, and halogen can add to this carbon atom, and then it forms an alkyl halide. When we take ethylene as an example, ethylene in HBr, so then this will take up this proton, okay, and then CH3, CH2, Br, and then Br minus will be attacking the other carbon atom from the back side. And HCl add to but2ene to yield 2-chlorobutane. So here we have but2ene HCl. It will pick up the proton, and the Cl minus will attack from the back side, and then it forms 2-chlorobutane. Now let's discuss the mechanism of addition of hydrogen halide. The mechanism for the addition of hydrogen halide to an alkene involves the following two steps. Step 1, the electrophilic attack of a proton from hydrogen halide at the pi electrons of the alkene, resulting in the formation of a carbocation and the halide ion. Okay, so here what happens is the alkene attacking the hydrogen halide picks up the hydrogen, and then we get a carbocation over here. Okay, so these two electrons are utilized for the formation of a bond with this carbon atom. So carbon hydrogen bond will be formed, and this carbon is electron deficient because it has already utilized for the formation of a sigma bond. Okay, and the halide ion is formed. This is the nucleophile, and this is a carbocation is formed. So the reaction will be faster because these two are the ionic species. The reaction will be faster. Okay, so nucleophile halide ion will come and attack the carbocation, and then it forms an alkyl halide. You have to note down that this is hydrogen halide addition is an anti-addition or a trans addition. So now I am stopping here, and in the next class we will discuss the Markovnikov rule.